Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tuesday's art enrichment video. Really quickly, I wanted to remind you guys about the library books. Please bring your library books back to Northlake on Wednesday from 11 to 2 or from 4 to 6, whichever time works best for you. We want to get all those books back so that we can have them again for next year so other people can check them out too. All right, so this week for our art projects, we are doing the theme of science. I really love this. Science I've always really liked because I understood it and I got it and it was really fun for me. So combining two loves together makes it all that better. And today's project is going to be a moving hand project. It's going to be super fun. It does require some drying time, okay guys? So you're going to make it and then you're going to have to let it dry and then you can come back and finish it and see how it moves. So in your hand, you have 3 bones up here, and in between the bones you have a space called a joint. Your joints are moved by muscles. You can see the muscles move in my hand. And there's also a thing called a ligament that connects the muscles to the bone. The ligament is what connects everything together. So this hand project is going to show you guys how all the different bones, the joints, the ligaments, and muscles work. I'm super excited about this one. Let's flip over and get started. Alright, so I have my materials laid out. You're going to need 2 pieces of construction paper. They can be any color construction paper you want. You're going to need a few straws. I just happen to have a big pack of similarly colored straws. You could use straws you get at any fast food restaurant, just a few straws. You're going to need scissors to cut the straws. You're going to need liquid glue for this one, and you're going to need some kind of string. It does not have to be this yarn like I have. It can be thread, it can be string, it can be yarn, it can be fat, it can be thin, any kind of thing that you can put through the straw, and then something to mark with, whether it's a pencil or a pen or something like that. All right, so the brown paper is going to be the base of my artwork, and the blue paper is going to be my hand that moves. So set my items aside for now and take just my blue paper, the scrap piece of paper that I've already been using, and I'm going to lay down my hand and trace it. I'm turning my paper sideways because my wrist likes to sit sideways, so this will give me a nice straight line because we do want a little bit of a wrist on there too. There we go. I know we cannot see it on camera because I used a pencil and this is dark paper. Let me cut it out. Now that my hand is all cut out, I see it's a little bit longer than the paper I want because I don't want my hand all the way up here. So I'm going to partially glue down my paper, then I'm going to cut off the extra little bit. What we want to do is we still want to leave the fingers not glued down so that they can curl, but we want to glue down the wrist and a little bit of the palm so that this is stuck down to the paper. Flip it over and put some glue on. Not a lot, little lines. There we go, that's all I need. Press and hold and count in your head. Cut off the excess. Okay. Now, the next step is going to require some measuring. So I've got a bunch of different straws right here. I'm going to avoid using this bendy part of the straw. If you need to keep it, I suggest opening it up all the way, not leaving it compressed. But I'm just going to cut it so I don't even need that. All right, so in your hand, you have several bones. Fingers are called phalanges, and you actually have 3 different bones in your finger. You got a bone here, here, and here, and that's just in your finger. And then you actually have bones that come down here in your palm as well. Your wrist has like 12 different bones in it that are all teeny tiny. And your thumb has 3 bones as well. Okay, so every time we have a bone, we are going to cut a piece of straw. Okay, so there's 1, 2, and 3. And then I need a bigger one here to the wrist. Just like that. So right now I want to show you guys how to glue these straws down, okay? Then I'm going to cut and glue the straws as I go on fast forward. This project is going to require some waiting time before you can complete it. So we're going to glue it, but then we need to give it like a half an hour to fully glue. So do this project, go do something fun outside, go do PE, go do music, maybe go finish an assignment you need to do, or just go outside and have fun. Let this dry and then come back and I will show you guys the last few steps. So in order to glue this down, I'm going to do just a little bit of glue right here. You could actually do the whole thing, but I'm going to do little dots where I want them to be. Try not to do too much glue. Make sure you do very, very little glue. And then stick your straw in it. And then for the bigger pieces, I'm going to actually put the glue on the straw itself and then stick it down. Okay, like I said, this is going to take a long time for it to fully dry. And we're going to do one more thing with this before we let it sit to dry. So now I'm going to fast forward it and glue a bunch of these straw pieces down. Okay, there we go. I have all of my straws glued down now. So the reason we don't want to just do a straight straw right here is because nothing will bend if we do that. We don't have just straight bones. We've got areas in between the bones where our bones bend, and those are called joints. So everywhere there's a space between the straw is representing a joint in your hand. And then the string is going to represent the muscles and the ligaments. So I've got a few extra straw pieces left over. I'm just going to throw them away. Okay, then this next part we need to do while this is also setting is you are going to want to take some string. We're going to do some measuring. We want it to go behind the finger. You see how that sticks up a little bit? Through all the straws and down to the bottom of our paper. And I want to cut my string here. There we go. And then I'm going to do that for all of my strings. For all of my fingers, I'm going to make a string. Okay, there we go. Now that I have all of my strings cut, I need to do 2 more things to it before I set it to dry. So what I want to do is I want to actually have this glued behind the fingers back here. So I want to put a little dot of glue, put this down, but I also want to make sure that my glue is not going to stick to this paper behind it. So just be careful. You might want to stick something in there to keep it from touching, like a ruler or a pencil or something. So I'll stick this pencil in here when I'm done gluing all of the fingers. Carefully flip it up. Another dot of glue. So my straw just popped off, which is okay. It's still in the process of gluing. I just needed to add more glue and put my straw back on. No big deal. NBD. Finish gluing the rest of these. Alright, so now that I've got something underneath it to hold it up and I know all my strings are attached to the back of my fingers, I'm going to give this plenty of time to dry before I finish up what we need to do. So I'll be right back in just a split second for you guys, but a half an hour for me. Okay, so it's been sitting here for a little while, and I realized that I forgot to do one more set of gluing. Right here, I want to put a little bit of glue right here on the ends. Roll it in my fingers. I'm going to get a little bit messy, but when do you not get messy in art? And then I'm going to let these ends dry with a little bit of glue so that they're a lot easier to stick through the straw, and my little ends aren't going to fray and start to go everywhere. I'm still going to let this sit here and dry for a little bit longer before I start to thread them through the straws. Okay, I'll be right back. So I left this sitting for a very long time. I came back, and when I touched it, all of my straws popped right off, which is not what I wanted. So if you have hot glue at home, I would suggest using hot glue to glue these straws on. I do not, and so I am going to see if just a lot of glue will help stick it on. As you guys can see right here, I put down a lot of glue first, a lot more than I did the first time. And then I like to encase it with a little drop of glue on top. Let it come down each side, kind of like rubber band holding it down kind of thing. And let's see if this does any better. I'll be back. Alright, so I have had this drying for a very, 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 very long time. Hopefully it is going to work this time. Alright, so we had the strings glued on the back. What we want to do now is take this string, push it through the straw, push it through, and I happen to have some tweezers that are really helpful. These are some sewing tweezers. Your mom might have some for pulling hairs or getting splinters out. They are really, really helpful. If you don't have any tweezers, just keep going and work at it. Oh, there we go. There's a finger that bends. That's so cool. Okay, let's get the rest of these done. Alright, I finally got all of my strings put through. I did have a big straw that popped off. I'm going to add some more glue and let that dry overnight. But you guys get the idea. Finger, 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 and finger. Let's get all of them waving all at one time. Wow! It's so very cool. I love this project. It does take some patience with drawing time, but other than that, so much fun. All right, guys, happy creating!